My name is Will Welker. I'm the construction manager for Valencia Wetland Mitigation Bank, and I wanted to make a video to explain exactly what a wetland bank is. And the simplest way to describe that is to say that it's wetland replacement in advance. There's lots of wetland mitigation that goes on out there, and mitigation is a word that might mean replacement, but oftentimes it means doing something that might make us feel better about destroying wetland. What wetland replacement is, it means that we create new wetland where there was no wetland before. And what we do on a wetland bank is we do that work in advance. So on a wetland bank, investors put up money to create wetlands, and once it's approved as wetlands by the regulatory agencies, it can then be sold to replace wetlands that have been destroyed by construction, maybe roads, bridges, developers. And the banking program was developed to fix a problem in wetland construction and replacement. And that is the moral hazard of getting paid an incredible amount of money to do something that's difficult and expensive. And then if you get paid to do that before it happens, the financial incentive is to do as little work as possible, and that's not surprisingly, given human nature, that's what happens. So the idea of wetland banking was created in order to fix that so that the wetlands get created ahead of time before any wetland impact occurs. And then what would happen is, let's say someone needs to build a runway and destroy some wetlands or fill in some wetlands. What they do is they go to an approved bank where the wetlands have already been created with a temporal gain already in place, and they buy an equal amount of wetlands that they're going to be destroying. And this is a moral fix for the problem of the financial incentive to destroy wetlands, but no financial incentive to create wetlands. And unfortunately, there are still very large companies out there who are just going to pursue the profit model. And it's more profitable to spend your money influencing politicians and regulators than it is to create wetlands. And as long as that exists, there's going to be a problem. The wetland banking industry has been around long enough to have a proven track record. It's 100% successful or more. And that is to say that when you replace wetlands, given the temporal gain you have of wetland replacement, for example, here at Valencia Wetland, our average temporal gain is around 10 years. So when someone buys wetland from us, it's already been created and existing for 10 years prior to the point it gets applied to the wetlands that they impacted or destroyed. So in addition to the temporal gain, you have lots of little separated wetland pieces and parts that are scattered around. They then get consolidated to one very large project that's under a permanent conservation easement, and it has the benefit of interacting with all other wetland aspects that we work to build here on a wetland bank. So as long as we allow profit to be made on the destruction of wetland, as long as we allow the profit motive to be destroy wetlands but not create them, we're going to continue to lose wetlands. There are a number of schemes that we call mitigation, and we do different things. Let's say maybe a company is going to destroy wetlands. They go to the regulatory agencies, and maybe there's no wetland banks available, or maybe there are some available, but there's a financial incentive to do something different than the bank. Maybe the regulatory agency wants some land, or maybe there's a influential engineering company who wants to do the mitigation instead. And so through influence and money moving around through nonprofits in various ways, the permit is issued to destroy the wetlands. Money changes hands, and some little activity, sometimes nothing, sometimes meager, some type of mitigation occurs. There are various forms of what I call pretend mitigation, where we do something that sounds good, but it doesn't actually replace destroyed wetlands. One of these things is frequently you'll get donated land. So I destroy wetland here, and then I donate pre-existing wetland into some kind of protection scheme that's supposed to somehow mitigate. But the fact is that the wetland I'm donating was already supposed to be protected by law. So donating pre-existing wetland to a regulatory agency to oversee doesn't replace destroyed wetland. And we see that commonly. And then in addition to that, you have the regulatory agencies that then needs to collect taxpayer money to manage that land in perpetuity. All because a developer who was the original impactor wanted to make a profit and build some condos or something. And I have no problem with someone making a profit if they fix the wetlands that they're impacting. Because of the massive amount of fraud in the industry, we've always tried to make special effort to document the wetland we created so that there is a direct tie between every dollar of value that we generate to the actual created environmental improvements on the ground. So throughout our 2-decade process of creating this project, the technology has improved a lot. Drones are really good for this, getting drone footage from above. And a project I've been working on for a few years now is spherical imaging, much like a Google Street View tour, except that it has a temporal component so that we can see a view from one point in time and then go forward in time to see the actual environmental improvement over time. And this spherical image project I started in 2015. I took a bunch of images throughout the property, and most of them are terrestrial ground-based spherical images, and there are a number of drone-based spherical images. And these can be viewed online so that you can effectively explore the project over time and verify the reality of the environmental asset and prove it exists. So if you go to our website, valenciawetland.com, there is you'll see there a link for spherical image tour. And once you click on that, you'll see a map that has all the image sites marked with a number. And the numbers that begin with a D are aerial drone-based images. And then if you scroll down, you'll see a index of all the images that we have so far. And I expect to continue this into the future. It doesn't make sense to do them every day. You just do it over a period of years. And so our earliest images started in 2015. And then in 2017, I added some drone images to it. And then now in 2022, I've got current images to superimpose over those previous images so you can compare the two. So I invite you to come to valenciawetland.com and go ahead and tour through these images yourself. Once you're looking at this spherical exploratory view, you can go into full screen mode. F11 will put you into full screen. There's also a little link in the bottom right. You have a little bit of zoom, a little bit of mouse wheel zoom that you can explore around with, and then close the window to exit the spherical view.